We are 5 days in. Now, let's go over how I'm going to make this.
Hey guys, so I thought I would share just a little vlog. I wonder if you can guess what I'm making today. Well, what this is for brewing various things. I'm actually going to be brewing some hard cider today, and I thought I'd take you guys along with me on this little vlog. So this first video, I'm just kind of gathering my ingredients here, and what I'm going to do is, and what you might want to do is take your sugar. I've got about 150 grams of around of brown sugar. I've actually added some cinnamon and spices in there. You may want to try that as well. It's up to you though. You don't really have to add anything. I'm just giving that a try this time. I'm not pretending that I am an expert brewer or anything. This is just something I'm doing as just a fun experiment. And I actually did do this a couple weeks ago and it turned out really good. So I thought I'd revisit it. And this time I'm adding cinnamon. I'm adding around 150 grams of extra brown sugar. You can use white sugar, you can use anything, even honey potentially if you want to. And what you want to get is either apple juice or cider, which I have cider, which is really just unfiltered apple juice. So I have this, it has nothing in the ingredients except apples. So that's what you're looking for, whether you get apple juice or something else. You want to make sure it doesn't have any of those chemicals that you can, especially if you can't pronounce the words on the ingredients, you're going to want to avoid that. Now, the point in this here is this is actually going to be filled with water once I have everything put together. And what that's going to do is it's going to allow gas to escape without allowing anything else to get inside. So that's the point in that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start heating this up, this brown sugar here, in some of the apple juice or cider. And what that's going to do is help dissolve it so that when I pour it into the remaining gallon of apple juice, it's going to already be pre-dissolved. And I'm choosing for the yeast. I have a Nottingham Ale yeast. Now I've ripped off the part of the ale part, but you can see right here it says Nottingham High Performance Ale Yeast, and it actually fermented quite quickly. So within the week, I was already drinking the cider. Now, a lot of people who are, pros or are real hobbyists at this, which I am not. I'm just doing this because, I decided to give it a try. It's that season for hard cider, so I thought I'd brew some of my own. Also, save some money on 6 packs of cider. So, this is a good yeast to go with. A Nottingham Ale yeast can be a good yeast for brewing hard cider. This one actually can go up to like 13%. So, depending on the yeast that you do choose, they will have a certain tolerance to a point where they will actually um, still be active to a certain alcohol percentage and then it'll stop after that. So you have to keep that in mind when you choose the yeast, that certain ones will have a lower amount of ABV, alcohol by volume. So you want to choose the one that's right for you, and Nottingham Ale yeast was one of the ones that was recommended. So next what I'm going to do, I'm just going to heat this up, dissolve it in some of the cider here. I'm going to pour the rest of the cider in here with the cinnamon and spices. And then I'm just going to mix it all together. I'm going to take a teaspoon of this and I'm going to add that in the end. And we'll see how it goes. I'll continue making videos on this just to show you the progress and the finished result. Now that we have our sugar, and you can also use just white table sugar, in a cup, I'm going to put it in the microwave and just dissolve that sugar. And so I'm pouring some of that apple juice in there, the apple cider I bought. And what I'm going to do is heat this in the microwave. I'm going to put the rest of this in here, and then I'm going to top it off with this. And you don't want to heat up the yeast, so that's the reason I'm going to be pouring this into the jug first, and then the hot dissolved brown sugar in the apple juice will top that off, and then I'll add the yeast, and that way it's not going to raise the temperature of the yeast too high. Okay, so what I have now is everything is mixed together. I've swirled it around a bit. Now, of course, that cinnamon is sitting on top. Now, I have no idea if it's going to infuse it with cinnamon. It's just a little bit of an experiment. So, figured it can't hurt to add some of that good Saigon cinnamon that I have. And added the yeast, a teaspoon of that to the gallon. And so we have a gallon being produced over the next several days, and we'll be taking another look at it. And I have added the water right up above those holes. So if you take a look at the holes, there's some holes here, little square holes that go around, and what that does, it allows the gas to bubble up. So the water itself acts as a little bubbler here. This little piece here is going to bubble up, and there is a cap for this, but I've misplaced it, so I'm just going to add a little saran wrap and a rubber band around there. So that's my little contraption for the moment. But it's just about having fun, and it turned out very good last time. And I'm also, what I'm going to do is, once it is finished in this, I'm going to put it in mason jars, and I'm going to add a little more sugar. What that's going to do is it's going to allow it to further activate that yeast to create some carbonation. So when I pop open those mason jars and pour out the cider over some ice, or maybe not over ice, in fact, I put the mason jars in the fridge with that sugar, and it'll slow down the yeast a bit, but it also creates that carbonation. It's known as a second fermentation. You can do the same with brewing other things such as kombucha, etc. So that is the plan. We have everything set up, and we're going to let it go for a few days, and then we'll revisit it, and I will try it out and see what I think, and if it needs to go longer, how strong it might be. And there are other processes, but I'm just going to keep it simple because I'm looking forward to drinking some of this. See you in the next video.